Hey YouTube, what's going on? So today I am going to be replacing this Harbor Freight Central Pneumatic 21-gallon oiled air compressor. Picked this up a couple years ago and it's been great. Gets it up to, when's it stop? I don't know, 125 psi, somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah, you need to put oil in it. It's been a good air compressor, except the one thing I've noticed with this is that it gets really hot. So when it gets really warm out, I'll need to put a little fan on it and keep air moving over this little heat exchanger. Otherwise, it'll have some issues. So yeah, so I'm swapping this out with something a little bit newer, a little bit nicer, and hopefully a lot bit quieter. Alright, so this is the replacement. It is a Kobalt, which is a Lowe's brand, 26-gallon, 150 max PSI, 1.8 horsepower air compressor that is supposedly going to be a lot quieter than the old Harbor Freight one. So this one, I believe, they're saying it's only going to produce, what is it? It's up to 80% quieter than standard Kobalt air compressors. I believe on the box this says, what does this say? Come on. Only 70 decibels. It'll be interesting to see where they measured that. Typically it's at 1 meter. So yeah, so this is the old one. I just pulled it out of here. So we'll get this new one hooked up and see how it goes. One thing I will note about this one from Harbor Freight, little upgrade that I did was it's actually the drain plug. The ball valve that this comes with is just horrible. So what I did is I took a 1/4-inch street elbow and then about a 6-inch brass nipple with a valve, and then I put another street elbow forcing this down so it doesn't blow out at me. Blow water or whatever. So this made it a lot more accessible and easier to drain. So I'll have to probably do something similar on this new one. So let's get the new one hooked up. Alright, so I got the new air compressor put into place. I plugged it in and turned it on. Had to figure out where the little lever was. It's right there. Just where they meant to put it. So turn this on for his first cycle and let it get up to pressure. Looks like it stops a little bit under 150 pounds, or maybe at that gauge is probably junk, but yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a solid compressor. So the results was that this was dramatically quieter. Now measuring between the Harbor Freight and this is the clear winner. And knowing that the decibel is a logarithmic scale, every single dB reduction is actually a pretty dramatic audible difference. So anything to quiet this down in my shop is good. Have neighbors that are pretty close and I don't want to drive them crazy. So let me get the results and I'll be right back. Alright, the results are in. So we first off, we have the Harbor Freight 21-gallon Central Pneumatic, 125 psi, 2.4 horsepower, 14 amps. That's the same as this new one. A little smaller of a tank. Measuring at 1 meter using the app on my phone, which is pretty accurate, was getting 90 decibels at 1 meter away from this location, which is really high, very high. So with the Kobalt, doing that same test, I got 79 decibels, which is a reduction of 11, which is quite dramatic. I can actually be in here without ear protection on now. I feel like it's dramatically quieter. However, I would say it doesn't live up to its claim of 70 dB. Maybe there's an asterisk on there that I'm missing, where they say 70. I did another test to figure out how far away I'd need to be to achieve that noise attenuation of 70 decibels. And instead of the 1 meter, I moved out to about 6 meters, so about 18 feet, which is, let's just say, a lot further away than typically how you measure these things. So overall, is it a big deal? No. 9 decibels is not huge when we get down into this lower range, but when you get up, past 80, it's each increment is highly noticeable. So first impressions of this, I mean, I have heard some issues with the regulator on here being a little inconsistent, causing high pressure drops due to normal size demands. The orifice in here could be bad. Maybe I'll put a different one on. We'll see. We'll try it out. It doesn't seem like it's gotten as hot as my other one. That being said, I did take an infrared thermometer, and it's been cooling down here a little bit. We're at about, it's hard to get a good measurement there. On top of the compression cylinder, almost 140 degrees, which is pretty hot, but believe it or not, I feel like the Harbor Freight got hotter than that when I ran it. So overall, I'm very impressed. We'll see how this performs long term, but yeah, overall I like it. I'm excited to start using it more. Hopefully you found this experience helpful. I might do another video here on my shop air system, which is actually just using PEX tubing, readily available at any supply store. So look for that video in the future, but hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully you found this helpful and you're trying to make a decision between a Harbor Freight air compressor and maybe one that's a little bit nicer. So thanks.